Given the Black Lives Matter movement, what is your perspective on the statement, all lives matter?
I mean, obviously all lives matter regardless of your race, your color, anything like that. But I feel like black people, especially black men, are getting killed at such a higher rate than like any other race across America by police officers. And it's just like, you have to pay attention to who's really being targeted.
All lives matter. I feel like it comes from a place of misunderstanding, really. I feel like people think that when we say Black Lives Matter, that it just means black lives and we shouldn't really care about anyone else's lives, but that's not really what it means. It means that our lives matter just as much as everyone else's, and that we shouldn't receive any mistreatment by anyone, really, no matter what the situation is. Whereas someone of another race, sometimes specifically the Caucasian race, they receive a different kind of treatment, pretty much a cushier treatment.
Although all lives matter, not all lives are being taken, and when people say all lives matter, they're taking away from the bigger problem, which is the whole Black Lives Matter movement, and not everybody's getting killed. A lot of black people, our people, are getting killed.
Given the Black Lives Matter movement and all that it stands for, the statement all lives matter simply is some tagline used to marginalize all that word. It's tantamount to me being at my cousin's funeral and someone jumping in and saying, well, all funerals matter, all dead people matter.
When people say Black Lives Matter, they're saying that because they have to, because our society has proven that Black lives don't matter.
It should be edited to all Black Lives Matter. What do I mean by that? Is there is an entire Afro-Latin population and even indigenous population that is being, I personally believe, isolated from that movement, right? You have the Black and Latin roots being able to go back as far as the Aboriginals.
Even now, as people will say, we're 200 years past slavery, we're only 60 years past segregation. So for me, I honestly think the phrase all lives matter implies that every life in that phrase matters. But what we have seen historically and even today is that all lives matter except for Black lives. And so that's why I think that saying Black Lives Matter is extremely important, because it brings special attention to those lives that are not being considered worthy. And I also don't think that people should be alarmed or threatened or feel upset at the phrase Black Lives Matter, because if all lives really mattered, you wouldn't feel like your life was being threatened by another life being celebrated. One life's celebration, one life's promotion does not negate and does not put down or demean the lives of somebody else.
I mean, of course, all lives matter. That's common sense. That's not the issue, though. When you have blacks and minority individuals being disproportionately targeted and victimized regarding police brutality, then it's clearly an issue. It's like saying that all diseases matter when you are at a convention to cure cancer.
All Lives Matter is used as a reaction to the assumption that Black Lives Matter means that only Black lives matter. But Black Lives Matter is a cry, a call for help, saying that why are you not acknowledging the fact that my Black life matters?
I feel that, yes, of course, all lives do matter. However, it seems that whenever we have an issue in the Black community, there's also something that's out there trying to kind of take away from its light and take away from its shine. So, yes, all lives do matter. However, Black Lives Matter is just as important.
I do agree that all lives do matter, but as a Black woman, I take Black lives the most seriously, in the sense that I believe that Black people have always been discriminated against and always pushed to the side. So I think as a Black woman, it's my responsibility to make sure that the people who honestly look like me are appreciated by me and supported by me.
Well, I think that Black Lives Matter is about a specific condition that is being addressed, okay? Eventually, even the activists of Black Lives Matter are asking for a recognition of all common humanity, that we're all human beings, and that we all have dignity. And I think that eventually the idea is for us to all become human beings, but Black Lives Matter is speaking to a condition that exists in the now and here.
What advice would you give to your peers all across America on how they can effectively impact their college campus?
I would say join more Black organizations, like participate in Black events, and just like speak out against like injustices against Black people.
It starts with the little things like sitting in class. If like someone next to you makes a comment that's prejudiced or racist, or if your teacher, your professor makes a comment like that, I feel like you speaking out in that moment can help stop those little tiny racist covert things that are happening in our society right now that aren't like in your face racism.
Get involved. Whatever organizations seem relevant to you or seem like you could get in there and make a change or just possibly even be comfortable. Be yourself. Give everything that you can, that only you can give to those organizations. Get involved. If you hear about a protest and you can make it, make it. Just simply get involved, be yourself, and provide your talents.
Expand, not just in terms of membership, but really inclusivity, which will ultimately lead to the bigger combination of what is Black. And it will allow those who deserve to reclaim their Blackness to do so, especially Black Lives Matter being one of the few spaces where Blacks are able to really enforce that full-fledged.
Everybody isn't meant to do the same thing, right? So while I don't think that everybody is meant to be a visible activist, everybody has a responsibility to be an activist in their own way, simply because if you're going to sit around and wait for somebody else to change things, realize that you're putting the lives and the future of your children in somebody else's hands.
Knowledge is power, and I believe a lot of individuals on campus have a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom, and a lot of strong and powerful opinions. But the only problem is that they lack the platform for them to be able to get those opinions and get those ideas out there to the community and the rest of Rutgers at large. So it is important for them to get involved in prominent organizations on campus that will allow them to have that platform to really get their ideas out and start mobilizing things into action.
First, accept the fact that we have a lot of privilege being one of the educated few, the talented tenth, as some would say. So first, accept that you have that privilege, understand you have that privilege, and use that to form a coalition with people around you. College-age people are usually some of the people who get these movements started, and these movements aren't like month-long, year-long things. These are decade-long movements that have been happening. Fred Hampton was 21 years old when he was assassinated by the FBI. He was 21 years old when he was assumed to be a threat. And as a senior in college, I'm 21 years old. So there's no reason why I shouldn't be using all of my resources, all of my knowledge, all of my peers' knowledge and all of my peers' resources to not form some type of coalition or some type of group that can be used for the advancement or the betterment of our people.
I would definitely say that a big start is getting involved and staying involved. So you have to be your own advocate. We have to fight the fight that needs to be fought in order to see the changes that we want to have in our community, whether that be in school, in government, whatever. So definitely getting involved and using the different connections to kind of build each other up and move forward.
Definitely stay involved in the sense that staying aware of current events, know what's going on campus, find something that really fits you and commit to it. I know that being the president of Douglas Divas, that I found something that created a sense of friendship for me, as well as taught me leadership skills that I never knew that I had.
Well, I think we are at a crossroads in terms of marrying the humanities with the technical dimension that our society has taken. Right now, what we need to do is to act to change the parts of our society that have been lagging in terms of equality and capabilities. I think that in order for us to have a society that truly allows everyone to develop their capabilities, we have to address some very thorny questions that we've been ducking.
What would you like to see from Greek organizations, and how do you think we can effectively impact the movement or the community?
Just as much, I guess, as y'all promote parties for Black people and things like that, try to promote like education and just like talk about, like Black people in the world and just like, I guess, educate us.
Just go out to the community, present yourself, show what you're about, get young Black males and young Black females interested in college, interested in learning, interested in education, and interested in Greek life.
Greek organizations, they have the power to reach out to the masses, basically. So I think Greek organizations should organize programs and protests and galas that they're doing now, like things like that can unite the Black community here, and help us stick together. And I think once we have that bond in that community, it'll be easier for us to work together to end whatever violence and prejudice is going on right now in our society.
I think Greeks should, at its simplest level, follow what their mission statement, what their visions are, what their values are, and from there they will just intuitively get involved with philanthropy, protests, and helping out the community, because it's already ingrained in their various, mottos or creeds.
Well, to better impact this movement, what I expect from Greek life, coming from the Blacks, is just to, once again, bring up the conversation of inclusivity and expansion, not just in membership, but identity, right, and consciousness. Coming from a Latino, what I would expect is for the Greek Latino organizations to finally speak on immigration, undocumentation, and deportation.
You guys have parties and everything, and it's very well advertised. So you should advertise your events that speak towards the different movements that are important.
Well, for me, I'd say it's two things. For one, back to my previous statement, knowledge is power. So we can use our platform to spread the knowledge that we have and that we've incurred to the Black and minority community regarding the Black Lives Matter movement and what it's all about. But also, a lot of times after these seminars in which you're gaining information, a lot of times they're left not knowing what next. So I believe we need to come together and find out ways that these individuals, after learning about the movements and learning about the issue, we need to offer ways for them to get involved and for them to actually take action, even if it's in the smallest ways possible.
I would like to see the unity of the Black community, and I believe that because Greek organizations are looked at as the leadership roles, of the community, I think that it's important to definitely promote positivity, unity, communication, and breaking those barriers that we have as Black people. The barriers between Black men and women, the barriers between Black women and Black women. So I think that it's really important to do programs and to have more supportive services, because I think that in order for the Black community to come together, we definitely have to look at the leaders first.
So being Greek myself, I definitely think that being unified, which is something we definitely do a great job of here at Rutgers, but being unified and staying unified and just working together towards a common goal is definitely key to getting the change that we want to see on campus.
Well, Greek organizations have a long history in America, and Black fraternal organizations have been crucial, even from the revolutionary days. We see that resistance to oppression was funneled through a number of Black fraternal organizations. So the power of organizing is inherent in the Greek system, or the possibility of organizing. What I think we have to do now for the 21st century is to really link the sense of brotherhood and sisterhood that we find in these fraternal organizations to actual concrete projects in the community. We need to foster communication and mentoring between these organizations, and especially young people growing up. And I think that's the possibility that Greeks need to live up to at this point in time.
Utilize some of the values that we believe that they were founded upon. And to do that, we have to think about the time and the circumstance of what happened when they were founded. So some of these organizations were founded in the heart of the Civil Rights Movement, out of the Divine Nine, the Black Greek organizations that we hold very highly and respect very dearly. The youngest of them was birthed in 1963, and that was the heart of the Civil Rights Movement. The earliest of them was birthed in 1906, back when Jim Crow laws were a natural thing and lynchings weren't uncommon. So those men and women who paved the way and created those things in such times of turmoil, against such adversity, against literally all the odds, those are some of the leaders that we need to see today in our Greek organizations. it's a lot of pressure. It's a very high pedestal to live up to, but these are people that literally paved the way for an entire race, an entire age category. Black college students now have fraternities and sororities they can pledge to because of these people, because they broke down the barriers of racism and the glass ceilings at their universities and institutions. So what I would like to see from our Greek organizations, and what I think could benefit the community, is if they would take that leadership role and by any means necessary break down the doors for our community